Why studying English before sleep works. Have you ever had one of those days where your to-do list feels endless, your energy is low, and the thought of studying English seems impossible? You're not alone. Many of us want to improve our English, but between work, school, family, and everything else, finding time feels like trying to catch a cloud. You might even think, I'll do it tomorrow, only to repeat the cycle again. But what if I told you there's a way to learn English effortlessly, even on your busiest days? A method that doesn't demand extra hours in a crowded schedule, doesn't feel exhausting, and can actually make your brain absorb English faster. The secret lies in what your brain does naturally while you sleep. Yes, your brain doesn't just turn off when you close your eyes. While you rest, it's actively organizing, reviewing, and strengthening the memories you've made during the day. Scientists call this process memory consolidation, and it's one of the reasons why a good night's sleep makes you feel sharper and more focused the next morning. During certain sleep stages, your brain replays experiences, vocabulary, and information from the day, like a quiet rehearsal. This means the English you expose yourself to before bedtime can stick more deeply than you might think. Imagine this: instead of struggling to cram in a long study session after a tiring day, you can give your brain short, calm bursts of English just before you sleep. Then, while you dream, your brain continues the work, silently reinforcing what you learned. It's like planting seeds at night and waking up to a small garden already beginning to grow. And the best part? This doesn't require complicated methods or expensive tools. You don't need to memorize long lists of words, force yourself through grammar drills, or stress about speaking perfectly. With the right approach, learning English before sleep can be simple, calming, and even enjoyable. In this video, I'll show you how to take full advantage of this natural learning window. You'll discover practical, easy-to-follow steps to practice English before bed without feeling overwhelmed or stressed. From gentle listening exercises to quick thinking practices and simple habits, these techniques will train your brain while keeping your evening peaceful. By the end of this session, you'll understand not just why studying English before sleep works, but how to do it in a way that feels natural, sustainable, and effective. You'll have a calm, clear routine that allows your brain to absorb English more efficiently, so every night becomes an opportunity to improve without adding pressure to your day. So, if you've been struggling to fit English into your busy life, or if you felt frustrated by slow progress, this video is for you. Together, we'll unlock a way to learn effortlessly, harnessing the power of your own sleep to strengthen your skills. By the time you close your eyes tonight, your brain will already be on the path to fluency. Let's start this journey with calm focus, simple steps, and a little bit of magic your brain does naturally, the science behind learning while you sleep. You might think that once your head hits the pillow, your brain shuts down, but the truth is fascinating: your brain remains incredibly active while you sleep. In fact, it uses this time to process, organize, and strengthen everything you've learned during the day. This is why studying English, or any new skill, before sleep can be far more effective than trying to cram information late at night. Let's start with one of the key concepts: memory consolidation. When you learn something new, your brain temporarily stores it in a short-term area called the hippocampus. But this information isn't yet permanent. During sleep, your brain moves these memories into long-term storage in the neocortex, where they become more stable and easier to recall. Think of it like saving a file to your computer's hard drive instead of leaving it open on your desktop. The more your brain practices this process, the stronger and more durable your memories become. Sleep isn't just one uniform state, it has multiple stages, each playing a unique role in learning. One of the most important is REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. This is the stage when most dreaming occurs, and it's also when your brain integrates new information with existing knowledge. For language learners, REM sleep is particularly important because it strengthens connections between words, grammar, and pronunciation patterns, helping you remember them naturally without forcing yourself to memorize every detail. Another stage, called slow-wave sleep, is equally vital. During this deep sleep, your brain reviews facts, vocabulary, and skills you practiced during the day. Studies show that people who get sufficient deep sleep after learning new information can recall it more accurately and quickly the next day. This means that short, calm English practice right before bed isn't wasted, it's a seed your brain nurtures while you rest. You've probably tried late-night cramming, staying awake to memorize a long list of words or force yourself through grammar exercises. While it might feel productive in the moment, research shows it's far less effective than reviewing material before sleep. When your brain is exhausted, it doesn't process information efficiently, and the memories you try to store may fade quickly. On the other hand, brief, relaxed study sessions before bed take advantage of your brain's natural processing during sleep, creating stronger, longer-lasting memories with less effort. Many studies support this approach. For example, research on language learning has shown that people who listen to vocabulary words or phrases before sleep remember them better than those who study at random times during the day. Other studies show that even passive listening to a foreign language while falling asleep can help your brain recognize patterns and sounds, improving your pronunciation and comprehension over time. The key isn't forcing yourself to study for hours, it's exposing your brain to the language in a calm, focused way right before sleep. This phenomenon is often called subconscious learning, because your brain continues working even when you aren't actively aware of it. You might wake up and suddenly recall a word or phrase you had trouble remembering the night before. Or you might find that a sentence pattern you struggled with seems easier to understand. This is your brain quietly processing, connecting, and storing information while you rest. Understanding this science changes the way we approach learning English. It isn't about doing more or pushing harder, it's about timing, focus, and leveraging your brain's natural rhythms. By practicing before sleep, you're essentially giving your brain a head start, letting it continue learning while you dream. Over time, this simple habit can accelerate your fluency and make English feel more natural and effortless. In the next section, we'll explore practical ways to use this knowledge, so you can apply it tonight without stress or pressure. From listening exercises to mental rehearsal and gentle review, these techniques will help you harness the power of sleep to improve your English. By combining science with simple, calm routines, you can finally turn bedtime into one of your most productive learning moments. Prepare your mind and environment. Before we dive into the actual techniques for learning English before sleep, it's important to understand one simple truth: your brain learns best when it's calm and ready. Just like a sponge absorbs water more easily when it's relaxed, your mind absorbs new information more effectively when distractions are minimized and the environment feels peaceful. The first step is setting the right environment. A calm, quiet space is ideal. Bright lights, loud noises, and constant interruptions signal to your brain that it's time to stay alert, not relax and process new information. That's why using soft lighting, like a small desk lamp or warm bedside light, can make a big difference. It creates a soothing atmosphere that tells your mind, it's time to focus, but also to unwind. Next, consider eliminating distractions. Phones, TVs, or even loud conversations can prevent your brain from fully engaging with your learning material. Even a few notifications can pull your attention away, making your study session less effective. Before you start, put your phone on silent or do not disturb mode, close apps you don't need, and create a small, quiet corner dedicated to your English practice. It also helps to keep your materials ready. This could be a notebook for writing down new words, an app for listening practice, or audio files with short dialogues. The goal is to make learning effortless and natural. When everything is within reach, you avoid unnecessary frustration, and your brain can focus entirely on the task at hand. Another powerful strategy is creating a mental ritual. Rituals are simple actions that signal to your brain that it's time for a specific activity, in this case, learning English before bed. This could be as simple as making a cup of herbal tea, taking a few deep breaths, or organizing your notebook. These small, repeated steps tell your brain, it's time to focus and absorb information. Over time, your mind begins to automatically enter a calm, receptive state as soon as you start your ritual. Why does a relaxed mind matter so much? When your body is tense or your thoughts are scattered, your brain struggles to encode and retain information. Stress triggers the release of cortisol, a hormone that can interfere with memory formation. In contrast, a calm state allows your brain to concentrate fully on new words, phrases, and structures, making it easier to store them in long-term memory. This is why preparing your environment and mind isn't just a nice extra, it's a critical step for effective learning. Here are some practical tips to help you get started tonight. Turn off distractions, put your phone on silent, close unneeded apps, and ask others to give you quiet time. Keep your materials ready, have your notebook, pen, audio, or app prepared so you can start immediately without searching. Use soft lighting. A small desk lamp or warm bedside light helps create a calming atmosphere for your brain. Practice a mental ritual, take a few deep breaths, sip tea, or organize your space, whatever signals to your mind that it's time to learn. By combining a peaceful environment with a relaxed, focused mindset, you're setting the stage for your brain to absorb English naturally and efficiently. This is the foundation that makes every other step in your bedtime learning routine far more effective. Remember, the goal isn't to create a perfect, high-pressure study session. It's to create a calm, welcoming space where your brain can quietly practice, replay, and consolidate English while you sleep. The environment you create tonight can have a lasting impact on your progress, turning bedtime into one of the most powerful learning moments of your day. Best methods to learn English before sleep. Now that your mind and environment are calm and ready, it's time to explore the best ways to actually learn English before sleep. The key is balance, combining gentle, passive methods with light, active exercises, without overloading your brain. Think of it as a quiet workout for your mind, not an intense cram session. Let's start with passive methods. These are activities where your brain absorbs English naturally, without requiring intense focus. One of the most effective ways is listening to calm English audio. This could be slow podcasts, bedtime stories, or soft English songs. The slower, clearer, and more repetitive the speech, the easier it is for your brain to process and store the information while you relax. Bedtime stories, in particular, are excellent. They combine engaging narratives with natural language patterns, helping your brain learn vocabulary and sentence structures without conscious effort. Podcasts designed for English learners are another great option. Look for content that's slow, clear, and repetitive, so your brain can absorb phrases without strain. Even 10 to 15 minutes of calm listening can reinforce what you've learned during the day. Next, let's explore active methods. These require a little more participation, but still remain simple and relaxing. One technique is reviewing vocabulary or short phrases you've learned recently. Instead of long, complicated lists, focus on a handful of words or sentences that feel most relevant to you. You can mentally repeat phrases, visualize them in context, or write short notes in a notebook. Even jotting down 3 to 5 words and using them in simple sentences can help your brain consolidate them while you sleep. Another active method is mental rehearsal. Picture yourself having a conversation using new phrases or words. Speak them quietly to yourself or repeat them in your mind. This trains your brain to recognize patterns and improves recall without overloading your focus. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Spending just a few minutes actively reviewing before bed is far more effective than forcing a long, stressful study session. The balance is crucial. Less is more when it comes to pre-sleep learning. Your brain works best when it's calm and receptive. Overworking it with complicated grammar rules or long reading passages can create stress, reducing retention. Focus on short, meaningful activities that engage your mind gently. To maximize absorption, choose audio with repetition and slow speech. Many apps for English learners are designed with this in mind. For example, apps like Duolingo, LingQ, or FluentU offer slow, repeatable audio exercises. You can also find calm bedtime stories in English on platforms like YouTube or Spotify, specifically made for learners. Short episodes, slow storytelling, and repeated phrases are ideal for pre-sleep practice. Here's a sample pre-sleep routine you could try tonight. 5 to 10 minutes passive listening, play a calm English podcast or bedtime story. Focus on understanding the general meaning without stressing about every word. 3 to 5 minutes active review, write down or mentally repeat a few key words or phrases you want to remember. Keep it short and simple. Optional mental rehearsal, imagine a small conversation using these words, or quietly repeat sentences in your mind. Consistency is more important than duration. Doing this every night trains your brain to absorb English effortlessly while you sleep. Over time, you'll notice that words, phrases, and sentence structures begin to feel natural, almost as if your brain has quietly practiced while you were dreaming. Remember, pre-sleep learning isn't about perfection. It's about gentle, consistent exposure and light practice. The combination of passive listening and short, active exercises allows your brain to strengthen memory connections, improve comprehension, and boost your confidence, all while you rest. By choosing calm audio, using slow repetition, and engaging in brief active practice, you can make bedtime one of your most powerful English learning moments. This approach turns sleep into a natural ally in your journey toward fluency, making every night a small but effective step forward. Habits and mindset for nighttime learning. Learning English before sleep can be incredibly effective, but like any skill, it works best when supported by the right habits and mindset. Many learners make the mistake of focusing on intensity, trying to cram long sessions, memorize endless lists, or force themselves to understand everything at once. The truth is, consistency matters far more than intensity. Just a few calm, focused minutes every night is far more powerful than one long, stressful session once in a while. Your brain thrives on repetition, not pressure. Nighttime learning is most effective when it becomes a gentle, enjoyable routine rather than a task that causes stress. Stress, overthinking, or multitasking reduces your brain's ability to retain information. When your mind is busy worrying about tomorrow, scrolling through your phone, or trying to juggle multiple tasks at once, it can't fully process new language patterns. That's why building a calm and focused pre-sleep routine is so important. Mindset matters as much as technique. Start by staying calm, patient, and positive. Remind yourself that progress is gradual, fluency doesn't happen overnight. Instead of judging yourself for mistakes or slow progress, view each night's practice as a small investment in your English skills. This mindset reduces anxiety and allows your brain to absorb information more effectively. Another powerful approach is to focus on small wins every night. For example, Maybe tonight you remember 3 new words, understand a short sentence in a podcast, or successfully repeat a phrase in your mind. These tiny achievements might seem minor, but they accumulate over time. Each small victory strengthens your confidence, reinforces your learning, and encourages your brain to keep building connections while you sleep. To reinforce this habit, consider keeping a short reflection journal before bed. Write down just a few lines about what you learned, words or phrases you practiced, or anything you noticed improving in your listening or comprehension. You don't need long entries, 1 or 2 sentences are enough. This simple act not only strengthens memory through writing but also helps your mind recognize progress, keeping motivation high. Here's how a simple nightly mindset and habit routine could look. Set a calm intention, take a deep breath, remind yourself that tonight is about gentle learning, not perfection. Focus on small practice, listen to a calm podcast, repeat a few phrases, or jot down 3 new words. Reflect briefly, write down 1 or 2 sentences in a short journal about what you learned or noticed. Celebrate tiny wins, acknowledge even the smallest improvements. Your brain will respond positively to this encouragement. Over time, this combination of calm habit, small, focused practice, and positive mindset creates a compounding effect. Your brain begins to associate bedtime with language learning, memory strengthens naturally, and motivation grows without stress. Nighttime learning becomes not just productive, but also enjoyable and rewarding. Remember, this isn't about perfection or pushing yourself too hard. The most effective learners focus on steady, consistent exposure rather than intense effort. By prioritizing calm, small, achievable steps, you make learning English before sleep a sustainable part of your daily routine. In short, stay calm, keep it simple, and celebrate every little improvement. Night after night, these small habits will build a strong foundation for fluency. Your brain will quietly absorb vocabulary, sentence structures, and pronunciation patterns while you rest, turning bedtime into one of the most powerful learning tools you have. Now that we've explored the science, environment, methods, and mindset for learning English before sleep, it's time to bring everything together into a complete, easy-to-follow pre-sleep routine. This step-by-step approach ensures that your brain can absorb new language naturally, without stress or overexertion. Step 1. Light review or reading, 10 to 15 minutes. Begin your session with a calm review of what you've learned recently. This could be reading a short passage, revisiting a few vocabulary words, or reviewing simple phrases in a notebook or app. The goal is not to memorize long lists or tackle complex grammar but to gently remind your brain of language patterns and words you've already encountered. Keep it brief and focused, so your mind remains relaxed and receptive. Step 2. Listening to calm English audio, 10 to 15 minutes. Next, switch to passive listening. Choose calm English audio such as a slow podcast, audiobook, or bedtime story. Focus on understanding the general meaning rather than every single word. Audio with repetition and slow speech is ideal, as your brain absorbs patterns more efficiently this way. This step allows your subconscious to work on comprehension, pronunciation, and sentence structures while your body begins to unwind. Step 3. Mental repetition, 5 minutes. After listening, spend a few minutes mentally repeating words or phrases from your review and audio. You can do this silently in your mind or whisper quietly. Picture short sentences in context, or imagine yourself using new vocabulary in a conversation. This light, active practice strengthens memory connections and helps your brain consolidate information more effectively during sleep. Remember, less is more. Keep it calm, short, and enjoyable. Step 4. Relaxation and sleep. Finally, allow yourself to transition into a relaxed state for sleep. You might take a few deep breaths, stretch lightly, or sip warm herbal tea. Avoid checking your phone or engaging in mentally demanding activities. Your brain is now ready to quietly continue the learning process while you rest. As you drift off, trust that your subconscious is reinforcing vocabulary, phrases, and sentence patterns you've practiced. Maintaining energy the next morning. A good nighttime routine not only improves language learning but also helps you feel refreshed the next day. Keep your bedroom environment conducive to sleep, low light, comfortable temperature, and minimal noise. Try to go to bed at a consistent time, and avoid heavy meals or caffeine before sleeping. Waking up after quality sleep ensures your mind is alert, energized, and ready to continue learning English during the day. Small steps compound into big progress. It's important to remember that progress comes from consistency, not intensity. Just 10 to 15 minutes of review, 10 to 15 minutes of listening, and a few minutes of mental repetition each night may seem small, but over weeks and months, these small steps compound into significant improvement. Your vocabulary will expand, listening comprehension will become easier, and your confidence in using English will grow steadily. Building a long-term habit. Consistency is the key to making nighttime learning a long-term habit. Keep your environment calm, your materials ready, and your mindset positive. Celebrate small wins, track your progress in a short reflection journal, and maintain the routine even when life gets busy. Over time, your brain will naturally associate bedtime with English practice, making it an effortless part of your day. Final encouragement. Remember, learning English before sleep isn't about perfection or doing everything at once. It's about creating a calm, focused, and enjoyable routine that gently trains your brain every night. With patience, small steps, and consistent practice, you can make real, lasting progress. Night after night, your brain will absorb more, your confidence will grow, and fluency will feel closer than ever. Tonight, take this routine and make it your own. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Your brain is ready to learn, even while you sleep, and every night is an opportunity to move one step closer to English fluency.